Hello there and welcome to the news right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Esther Wachuku, and these are the top stories. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, National Security Advisor, Ministers in emergency meeting over planned nationwide protest. Details of emergency meeting emerges. Speaker Abbas speaks on President Tinubu's behalf. Labour Party urges NLC working for politicians to destroy party. Details now. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, convened a meeting with ministers today to discuss a proposed nationwide protest against the economic hardship faced by Nigerian youth. This meeting took place in a confidential setting with the participation of ministers in the President's cabinet. Amongst the ministers present were Nyesom Wike, the Federal Capital Territory Minister, Yusuf Tuga, Foreign Affairs Minister, Zephaniah Gisalo, Special Duties Minister, Tahir Maman, Minister of Education, and Abubakar Bagudu, Minister of Budget and Economic Planning. Additionally, the meeting was attended by Wali Edu, Finance Minister, Muhammad Idris, Information Minister, Bello Matawale, Defense Minister, David Umahi, Works Minister, and the National Security Advisor Nuhu Nubadu, amongst others. The meeting, however, was still in progress at the time this report was being filed. Now, I want you to recall that on Tuesday, President Bola Tinubu issued a call to Nigerians to postpone the upcoming End Bad Governance protest, which was initially scheduled for next month. This protest, which is gaining momentum in social media, is set to take place across all states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja, in August. The organizers of this protest remain unidentified. The escalating prices of food and basic commodities over the past months reflect the severe economic hardship faced by Nigerians, exacerbated by the country's worst inflation and economic crisis, which has been triggered by the government's dual policies of abolishing petrol subsidies and the unification of forex windows. Meanwhile, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, conveyed a message today in Abuja after a Federal Executive Council meeting convened by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume. Idris described the planned protest as a family matter and reassured that the government is committed to resolving all issues in a manner that ensures peace and stability across the country. The minister also acknowledged the legitimate concerns of citizens and stressed that the administration is focused on implementing solutions to mitigate the hardships. He emphasized that dialogue and patience are essential during this period of economic transition. Let's take a minute, listen to the Minister of Information, Muhammad Idris, address on the press immediately after the emergency meeting on the planned nationwide protest in August.
Especially the young people that are trying to. We also discussed the issue of the country generally, and Mr. President has asked me to again inform Nigerians that he listens to them, especially the young people that are trying to protest. Mr. President is listening to them. He takes what they say seriously and is working assiduously to ensure that this country is good, not just for today, but also for the future. The issue of the planned protest. Mr. President does not see any need for that. He's asked them to shelve that plan. He's asked them to await government's response to all their pleas. He has listened to them, like I said, and a lot is happening. Only today, the National Assembly has expeditiously passed the new national minimum wage. You can see how the president is working. It was transmitted only yesterday. Today, it has been passed. A lot of other interventions that the president has also put in place are also going to be looked at expeditiously in the interest of Nigeria. So there's no need for strike. The young people out there should listen to the president and allow the president more time to see to the realization of all the goodies he has for them.
Also, in reaction to the proposed protest coming up on August 1, the Inspector General of Police has actually warned protesters against mobilizing against the presidency. Let's take a brief listen to him.
some groups of people, self-appointed crusaders and influencers, have been strategizing and mobilizing potential protesters to unleash terror in the land under the guise of replicating the recent Kenya protest, the Beku. While the force acknowledges the right to peaceful protest as enshrined in our constitution, we must ensure that these protests do not snowball into violence or disorder. As a nation, we have had more than our fair share of violent protests, which with rather dastardly consequences. The last NSAS protest led to wanton destruction of public assets, including police stations, courts, transport infrastructure, and loss of several lives. Tales of sorrow, tears, and blood followed what was supposedly intended to be a well-intentioned exercise. Rather than to lead to any positive outcome, NSAS merely aggravated crime rates and insecurity in several parts of the country. Indeed, we are yet to fully recover from the huge economic losses and deep-seated psychological and emotional trauma inflicted upon our people by this protest. Hence, our position is that the proposed violent protests are ill-advised and should be jettisoned forthwith. We have the responsibility to protect properties and everyone, irrespective of their race, color, ethnic, or tribe, who are lawfully embarking on their daily activities. We will therefore not sit back and fold our arms to watch violent extremists unleash violence on our peaceful communities, or destroy any of our national critical infrastructures and assets again. We have mapped out plans to ensure that no individual or group succeed in fostering a reign of terror and or anarchy on other law-abiding and peace-loving Nigerians. Consequently, I want to seize this opportunity to clearly sound a note of serious warning to hoodlums who might want to take laws into their hands in the name of protest, to have a rethink, as we will not fold our arms and allow our beloved country to be set on fire. Our duty is to protect lives and properties of citizens, and this we are committed to discharging professionally.
And you just listened to the Inspector General of Police warning against the planned protest, especially for those who may want to take over the planned protest in destroying public infrastructure. Well, the Labour Party's legal advisor, Kanu Edum, has accused the Nigerian Labour Congress leadership of working with politicians to destroy the party. Kanu Edum said the NLC leadership may be sponsored financially by the ruling All Progressives Congress. In a statement today, the party's legal advisor said Labour Party does not belong to the NLC. He added that the political commission of the NLC has no attachment to the Labour Party. He said, and I quote, "Our party has been assailed on all sides by paid agents, chiefly the NLC and its cronies. The job for which the NLC has been paid is to create a semblance of division and crisis in our party. But despite their evil agenda, our party remains strong, viral and stable. The leadership of the NLC knows that they are not registered members of our party and therefore have no stake in the party. Their claim to any stake in the party is false, mischievous and lacking any merit whatsoever." Edum said the request made to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) by Steve Adani seeking a certified true copy of the Nnamdi convention was done for the NLC. He said INEC must not observe Labour Party's convention. He noted that even though NLC leadership knew that the Electoral Commission leadership did not monitor the convention, it went ahead to request for CTC of the convention from INEC. Meanwhile, the coalition of northern groups, CNG, has blasted federal lawmakers, particularly those from the north, for supporting calls for the release of Nnamdi, Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. The coalition criticized the increased push for Kanu's freedom, which has gained support from various prominent Nigerians, including some lawmakers. Now, CNG labeled the support as treacherous and unpatriotic, stating it could forgive Southeast governors and lawmakers who have been long-time supporters of Kanu. However, it is outraged by Northern Lawmakers' endorsement of his release. The group views the demand for Kanu's freedom as an affront to those who perished during his secessionist activities and as an insult to the Nigerian populace. The coalition previously reported Kanu to the United Nations on August 7, 2017, accusing him of terrorism. CNG also called for IPOB to be declared a terrorist organization. In a statement signed by its national coordinator, Comrade Jamiliyu Aliyu Charanchi, CNG expressed shock and disappointment at Northern House of Representative members supporting Kanu's release. The statement criticizes lawmakers for undermining the rule of law and disregarding the suffering of Northerners affected by Kanu's actions. The group vowed to uphold justice and reject any form of terrorism, stressing that the blood of victims will not be in vain. Right now, it's time for a news analysis segment, and this will be the focus of our conversation and other issues that we read out on the world news at 6. I have right here in the studio Mr. Peter Nnamdi, who is a political, national and social affairs commentator and economic strategist, one of the best-selling authors in Africa. Peter Nnamdi, good evening and welcome to the world news.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I'm going to start off with this CNG actually lambasting the federal lawmakers. I'm sure you recall about last month, some federal lawmakers from all regions actually wrote to the president through the AGF asking for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. The plan is the fact that if Nnamdi Kanu is released, then the sense of security in the southeast will be partially restored and economic development can, henceforth go forward. While they are blasting and lambasting this group for actually calling for the support of Nnamdi Kanu's release, they are telling them that they are supporting his terrorist-related activities. They were the ones who actually wrote in 2017 for him to be apprehended and, of course, detained by the DSS. They also called for IPOB to be declared as a terrorist organization. They called the group treacherous group. They called them unpatriotic because they said that they were not meant to be part of those who are calling for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Now, let me throw your mind back to Bodejo, the Miyetti Haure leader, who was actually cleared of all terrorism-related charges by the federal government recently through the Attorney General of the Federation. And they did not say anything in regards to what he did or what he said. They did not make any measure or statement that whatever it is he had done desecrated the sanity and the sanctity of the activities in the Northeast. How come they have an issue with some of their members writing for the release of Nnamdi Kanu?
Well, that shows the hypocrisy that is reigning in this country. And for me, everybody is forming one group or the other, shoe shiners, calling themselves activists and pressure groups. But they are here welcoming so-called repentant Boko Haram.
Have you forgotten the whole rehabilitation, reintegration and de-radicalization strategy of the Nigerian army towards those who have downed their tools? That is the Boko Haram members who have downed their tools. They do not have any issue with that. So why is there an issue with this?
That's why I say this is the hypocrisy that is running in this country. Because since 2009, Boko Haram has been causing mayhem in this country. That's a massive mayhem, killing soldiers, killing policemen, killing ordinary individuals, going on suicide bombing everywhere in the country.
Actually taking on an ethnic cleansing as well.
Everywhere. And these people, some of them will say we have surrendered, and they will welcome them in their communities. And even one former chief of staff told them that they can be presidents of this country, that the so-called repented Boko Haram, after causing massive mayhem.
There was even a time they wanted to turban one. They felt that if he's turbaned, possibly the mayhem and atrocities being committed by them would reduce in that community.
So they welcome these people that have committed massive mayhem in their area. But this is somebody who was abducted, kidnapped by the Nigerian government, illegally detained. And the Nigerian state has no single proof of what they are charging him.
Mr. Peter Anosike, do you think that their writing and chastising and lambasting those lawmakers will have any, strong effects in the resolution, the political resolution that is being discussed or negotiated on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu? Do you think it will have any effect whatsoever?
For me, what is running now is forming a pressure group for forming activities. This could even be 2-3 people just coming under a name, Northern whatever.
They call themselves Coalition of Northern Groups, and they're lambasting those lawmakers. They said, why would they have put themselves in the category of members who will be writing for his release? According to them, they understand that the Southeastern governors will be showing support for Nnamdi Kanu's freedom or others, but they ought not to have been part of the process. According to them, they are saying that they are outraged by this lawmaker's endorsement of his release. And this is coming almost a month after they had written that particular letter to the presidency seeking for Nnamdi Kanu's political resolution for his release. And they're also stating that they had written to the United Nations accusing him of terrorism. For them, they feel that Nnamdi Kanu should go through the law, through the process, and whatever conviction is given, then that is basically what his fate is going to be on.
Well, they have no capacity for anything.
They have no capacity for anything.
They have no capacity for anything. This is a shoe-shining organization that just want to be heard.
So you're saying that it's not going to have any effect whatsoever?
Absolutely no effect.
You heard the Inspector General of Police actually warning Nigerian youths not to be part of the planned protest, or they should not be coerced into being part of the protest, because they feel that already dialogue is ongoing and that the president is doing the needful to address these challenges. And of course, they're making reference to the NSAS protest that took place in 2020. Now, I don't know if you've been on X, but there's been a lot of name calling. They've tagged this protest to be a Peter Obi supporting group that are actually trying to burn down the nation. They've accused Peter Obi and his supporters of being the ones spearheading this. Some Southwesterners are actually planning on a counter protest because they say that if any properties of theirs are destroyed right now, they know other areas they will target. We're seeing tweets flying around. They're already making it a tribal situation. Do you see this protest being effective as it's being called for?
Those people are social media champions.
Why are you say they are social media champions? You saw what happened in the NSAS protest.
If road calls are made now, 90% of them wouldn't show up.
How are you sure?
90% of them wouldn't show up.
90% of those who are going to organize a counter protest, or those who are threatening to destroy, to hurt anyone who tries to go against this government,
who are tweeting those things, wouldn't show up.
But this was how the government underestimated the social media call at the time. And in October 2020, we saw the massive crowd that came out to peacefully protest. How do you undermine the call on social media?
Social media are making cowards champion. Social media are making cowards champion.
Are you saying that the Inspector General of Police call or his fears about the fact that they're mounting up strategic formations across the Federation on the planned protest is no need?
The IGP spoke very well.
Okay.
One, he acknowledged that we have the right to protest.
All right.
He made that acknowledgement because it's one of our fundamental human rights.
Yes.
Even me sitting down here, I'm against breaking the laws and order. I'm against destruction of human lives and property.
Of course.
So if the protest could be peaceful, then let it go on. But in Nigeria, because of this hypocrisy, because of this sycophancy, some people will come on a counter protest, which did not happen in Kenya. In Kenya, there was no counter protest.
All right.
But this government is now on their toes already. For me, the vision and the mission is already being achieved because emergency meetings are going on everywhere.
The president's special advisor on social media, Dada Olusegun, raised an alarm on Tuesday. He alleged that the current government was battling with evil forces over the nationwide protest, which is scheduled for August 1. And we do know that this protest is being organized by the Northern Initiative for Growth and is scheduled for 10 days, beginning from the 1st of August. Nigerians are expected to take to the streets to demand better living conditions and an end to economic hardship. If you've been on Space, which is held on X, you hear all the conditions that are being set down. They're saying this time around they will go orderly, they will have their lawyers on ground. They're actually wanting the security agents not to have anybody to shoot any peaceful protester. It's not going to be like October 2020 now, but he is tweeting, and according to his tweet, he says those who want to burn the country down under whatever guise will meet the strongest resistance of their lives, not from security agencies but from the silent majority that gave their mandate to President Bola Tinubu for 4 years. In the first instance, we are waiting. What can you make of this threat on his X?
He is making an empty. I'm hearing that name for the first time. So,
really?
So people are becoming.
He's the president's special advisor on social media.
People are trying to be relevant. I say I'm hearing that name for the first time. I don't know him.
Okay.
I don't know him. But the truth should be told. Nigerian youths want to protest for the second time.
Okay.
They protested for the first time on February 25, 2023. That was when the first protest was made. That's rejecting the status quo.
All right.
That was when the Nigerian youth protested for the first time by voting somebody who they feel will bring better life to Nigerians. But the enemies of the country say no.
All right, I want you to help me interpret what this tweet means. He's saying that those who want to burn the country under whatever guise will meet the strongest resistance of their lives. But it's not going to be from security agencies, but from the silent majority that supported President Bola Tinubu. What do you make from that statement?
It could be his children who are the silent majorities.
No, but don't you think there's an underlying threat to that phrase?
Don't worry. How many votes did Tinubu, unquote, scored? 8-point-something million in a country of 220 million. So where are the silent majorities? Where are they? 99.9% of Nigerians are going through hunger. 99.9% of Nigerians are going through hardship, suffering. They don't know where or when their next meal will come. So where are those silent majorities?
All right. The Senior Special Assistant on Digital and New Media to President Bola Tinubu, Otega Ogra, has said the federal government has put out many developmental programs aimed at ameliorating economic hardship in the country.
Example.
He made reference to the minimum wage bill, which was passed on Tuesday, the student loan, compressed natural gas-powered vehicles, and reduction of taxes and levies on essential food commodities.
Where are they?
He said that there were some of the policies put out by President Tinubu to address economic hardship. He's saying that rather than the Nigerian youth going on a protest, they should actually dialogue first. If they dialogue, the administration would tell them all the laid down procedure they have put in place to help ameliorate the problems they are actually agitating. But the question I'm going to throw at you is, if the government knew they had all of this on ground, why had they not made all of these statements already before they heard the call on social media for the planned protest?
They are now under panic. They are panicking because if you fail to do the important thing, you are going to do the urgent thing. So they fail to do the important things. That's why they are now panicking to do the urgent thing. That's why every day they are holding emergency meetings.
They just held an emergency meeting today. And of course, you heard the Minister of Information actually speaking to journalists after the meeting. He's saying that policies are already on ground to address these challenges, that Nigerians just need to be patient. Other supporters are saying that this is the handwork of a lot of opposition members, specifically, you know who they targeted. And they're saying that how is it possible for this administration to perform a miracle in 1 year? That he inherited a rubbish government. In fact, this statement was made by Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister, that Nigeria inherited a rubbish economy. How is it possible for this economy to be reinvented, all right, or re-established in 1 year if there is not an ulterior motive to this planned protest? Do you agree with what Nyesom Wike said?
Even if I drink all the beer in the Nigeria breweries, I can never be on the same page with Nyesom Wike. They are looking for untenable excuses.
Okay.
One, you can never achieve what you cannot measure.
All right.
If you set goals and you cannot measure your goals, you cannot achieve it. So telling people that you have patience, telling people to give you some time without giving them timeline,
yes,
you are deceiving them. So this is what Nigerian youths cannot agree. if you have goals, give them timeline so that they will know how to hold you responsible.
Do you think this protest on August 1 will be effective? There's a lot of political dissent. There's a lot of tribal dissent mixed in it. And there are different groups who are already extricating themselves. The Benue Northern, the Middle Belt Northern Youth, they said they're not going to, the Middle Belt group have said they're not going to be part of it. And some Northern Youth are saying they're not going to be part of it. Some are saying they'll be part of it. The Southeasterners too are asking their persons and their people not to be part of this protest. So how do we see the efficacy of this planned protest on August 1?
Well, for me, if the effect of the protest is already being achieved,
okay,
because federal government is in a panic mood at this point in time. That is a credit to the organizers.
All right.
This emergency meeting that they are holding and all these emergency promises, because before they were so relaxed,
yes,
as if the people does not matter. But now they are talking, they are making promises.
The Inspector General said he's ready. They are ready for the protest. What do you mean? What do you think he means by that statement?
Well, it is his responsibility to protect law and orders. Sure. So it is in his own constituency. He should organize his boys. Yes.
All right. Mr. Peter Anoski, thank you so much for taking your time to share your perspective on some of the issues raised here on the World News at 6. I sincerely do appreciate your input.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, to wrap up here again at the top stories, SGF and SA ministers in emergency meeting over planned nationwide protest. Details of emergency meeting emerges. Speaker Abba speaks on President Tinubu's behalf. Labour Party alleges NLC working for politicians to destroy the party. That's a wrap on the World News at 6. My name is Esther Wachuku. Good evening and thank you for listening.